Welcome to Kyle and Dave versus the Machine, the video edition. This week, we've now watched Red Sun. I don't know, Kyle. I mean, it should have been good.
It shouldn't have just been good. It should have been a classic. I think that's the most frustrating thing about this film, is that sometimes you watch films like, oh, what were they thinking? Or like, this just doesn't work. The actors, perfectly cast. The script is actually really decent. The concept actually even works for me. I will maybe go into it a bit later here in a second about how Ursula Andress maybe has a wasted time as a character in this movie. But everything about this movie works, and yet as a whole, it fails. And I think it's primarily because of the direction. For me, at least. I think if someone had been in there to actually increase the beauty of the images or just being more of a technical craftsman, this would be elevated and this would be looked at as one of like the premier examples of international cinema, bringing all these stars in together. Like that's what most of our episode is about, is just like, why doesn't this work? Because everything about it works, and yet this doesn't seem to ever come together.
You have a film where the performance is actually really good. Whether we like Ursula Andress, the character, because it's written awkwardly, she's actually good in it. The set pieces are amazing. The story makes sense in its own world, but it's still so boring, right? Is that the word I don't know. Like just flat. Flat and dull.
I think flat and dull is what I would say, because there are, again, elements of fun in this movie. I think the setup is cool. I think the little like bromance between Mifune and Bronson on their journey is good.
Frenemies, maybe? Frenemies.
I think the final battle is actually handled really, really well.
There's a brush fire.
The brush fire around them as like Native Americans keep coming in, and the three of them are fighting in the center of it. And I'm like, yeah, this is really cool. I think where it loses it is that involvement of the Ursula Andress character.
Leave goes for you, you fool. Don't move.
Where it's completely underwritten, and this feels bogged down of meeting her, understanding her backstory, bringing her along for the ride, only for there to be a double cross. It seems very prescriptive rather than feeling like ingrained into the story in any way. Yeah,
bit of a shoehorn.
It feels shoehorned in. So like compress that in, make it more compact. I think what it comes down to, I won't comment on necessarily the look of the film, because I think the version on iTunes is a poor transfer of like an SD copy that just gets like stretched out to be quote unquote HD. But the actual blocking, the camera shots and stuff are kind of what gets me the most, where it's like, no, it should feel epic, and nothing about this ever comes across as feeling like epic.
Yeah, we've been living in the Western film world, and there's an expectation, I think, regardless of what generation of Western film you watch, that Westerns are supposed to be vast and wide and kind of dwarfing. You know, you as the viewer are supposed to understand that it was so difficult to survive. And there's something about this film that doesn't convey that properly, even though they spend their time mired in a desert chase on foot. And I don't know why. We surmise that it's just the weakness of the director and the DP. And, it is a little unfair because the quality of the video we watched is shit. But I don't even think that's the problem, because it's just not well done.
Yeah.
Even if the texture's wrong, the color grading's shit because it's a bad transfer, you can tell when something's shot with the intention to create an epic drama. And this feels a little bit like it was made for TV. Actually, that's what we should have brought up. It feels like it was made for TV, and it's such a wasted opportunity because, you had Charles Bronson, who's the most Jack man in Hollywood.
Yeah. Who knew he was just packing it in? Like, just cut.
And you have to show
I don't know if I say this in the episode. It is the most confused boner I've ever had in my entire life.
Well, that's something I'd like to see.
Because I do not find Charles Bronson attractive. No. And it's like, whoa, where did that come from?
Like the whole time he's all gritty. He's magnetic because he's Charles Bronson. And then for no reason, it's because he's so buff. He just takes off his shirt for like 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. I bet the whole theater at the time was just like, what the? And Toshiro Mifune, who's like the embodiment of Japanese toughness and masculinity. He's got great acting range, so he can do all the drama. But when you look at him, even in the trailer video, when he's hacking people down, that's action. And he does it really well in this. Alain Delon, the most beautiful man on the earth.
At that time, yeah.
Oh, go.
He's got legs made of steel. He jumps off a fucking 20-foot roof. It
is amazing. If you've not seen the film, he literally jumps off, I think, like a 2-story roof, like through the center of it. It just like falls, like plummets to the ground, falls over, and then gets back up into frame.
It's like something out of
It
a
is
gymnastics.
wild that they decided to keep that in the movie, and it's probably because it's like he should have died, and he didn't right? When he jumped through this hole in the roof.
Oh, it was amazing. And he's good. He's really good in it. I thought it was a little awkward that they have a French villain, Japanese protagonist.
The
But it
French
turns
are
out-
easy to hate, Dave.
But with a little
come on.
context setting, it turns out the French were there too. So, you can shoehorn everything together. Yeah, so what a whiff.
It's not like awful. I don't want it to make it sound like I hated this movie. I didn't. I liked good portions of it. But yeah, like going into this movie when you figure out those 4 people are in it, like it's about this plot. There's no way this is going less than like a 4 for my score. It's like, oh no, it's not quite there. It just doesn't seem to ever gel together cohesively.
It starts even with the title. The central sort of driving force for Mufune is that his master gives him a knotted rope with 7 knots because he has 7 days before he has to kill himself for dishonor.
Each of these knots represents a day.
Suppose he doesn't make it in 7 days.
For the disgrace of failure, he will rip his abdomen.
Why is that not the title of this fucking movie? What does Red Sun have anything to do with? Like, it's not...
There's Japanese people in it, Dave.
It's like one Japanese guy. Yeah, so it's... You know what the
It's
rating is?
disappointing.
It's too bad. It's just too bad, you know?
Too bad, too furious. Yeah, that's right.
If you get a chance to watch it, particularly for free, I think you should watch it.
Yeah, I do. It is a recommend. Like, I would watch the movie. It's just that go in with your expectations a little bit lower because when you describe what the movie is and who's in it, it's like, whoa, like this is going to be amazing. and then the movie happens.
All right. Well, 71, Kyle. I mean, I want to be more impressed. This was such a golden opportunity to like make me reverse my idea of what this generation of film has been like. Am I even disappointed anymore?
I don't know because it's time to duck.
You sucker. Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
You think you could do that again?
Almost certainly.